Hello and welcome to the first episode of Roommate Reviews. Or Roommates Review.
Or Roommate Review. And that's it. And that's
Alright.
But that's all it is.
Thanks for listening to the first episode of Roommate Review. We'll see you next time.
Remake reduce, I think. Probably more likely. So what we're doing here on this what do you want to call it? I think podcast is a bad name.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a bad name because it originally comes from like iTunes and like the iPod and podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should invent a new term.
See, I thought you were going to go back to like Greek mythology. Like,
right, yeah.
Podcast is a bad term. You know, it stems from the Greek word.
yeah, it does. Podius Castium.
You know,
actually.
And that's where they got pod racing in Star Wars, the prequels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it should be called either like a talkie-do or or perhaps something else. I don't
Agnes,
know.
put on the talkie. One of them moving pictures.
So we have decided that we are going to review every Marvel movie and rank them. Every Marvel movie starting from the first Blade, at least. There are like 5 basically to TV movies.
Yeah.
Like 2 Captain Americas or whatever, but yeah, we're not gonna review those. Or we will.
Yeah.
You
Who knows?
find out. You'll find out. You'll figure it out.
Oh, who are we?
Who are we? Well, I am Evan. And I don't know who this guy is.
I'm Liam.
Oh, is that your name?
Yeah. Evan and I live together, and sometimes we do things together.
Yeah, we started watching the Spider-Mans, the original Spider-Mans.
Spider-Man.
No, I think it's Spider-Mans. I think.
Yeah, Spider-Man 1 through 3.
Spider-Man. For some reason, I was gonna say like, stereotypical Jewish first name, but all I could think of was Eric. Eric Spider-Man.
Yeah, Eric Brock. He played Venom.
Yeah, he did. He did play Venom. So we were watching those and we're like, what if we watched all the Marvel movies and we rank them? And so we're going to give a rating from 0 to 100. 0 will be down where like the second Ghost Rider is. And 100 will be like up there where the first Ghost Rider is in comparison to the second Ghost Rider. So yeah, with that being said, first movie we watched, tell them what it was.
We just finished.
We just finished.
Moments ago.
Yes.
Very first movie, Deadpool.
And there are major spoilers probably. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't care. If you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, yeah, well, just so you know. I mean, we're gonna spoil it. Because at the ending he kills Francis, and I mean that's the whole which I really like that, especially when I watched it in the theaters the first time. Like, are they gonna make it so Deadpool doesn't kill him as nice? Yeah. That was clutch burping.
It was good.
Are they gonna make it so that Colossus actually speaks and is able to elicit the feelings of Deadpool? It's like, please don't let him survive.
There's no way they would have ever.
And they couldn't. It was hilarious though. But actually, speaking on humor, there were so many jokes in that movie that don't land. There are a lot of good ones.
Yeah, a lot of it falls flat.
There's a lot of it just nothing. And this is interesting for a first movie. It's a comedy first. Mm-hmm. Big time. It has rated R, which is not very many.
Right. I mean, the idea is Deadpool is such a wacky and bizarre character who breaks the fourth wall constantly.
Yeah.
So they really dove into that. Not to say Deadpool isn't a well-developed character. His comics are really interesting, and he develops a lot as a comic book character. But the movie kind of made him a bit one-dimensional, I guess.
Yeah, and a lot of his humor in the movie tried to stem from, like, him cracking jokes in a way that's not so much making fun of the movie or the scenario. Like in the comics, he often does. He's making fun of the scenario he's in. In the movie, he's more like, haha, this is a butt joke. Butts are funny.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like that.
When he took the bullet up the
rectum.
The anus.
Right.
He's like, oh, right up Main Street. Like, butts. That's
like,
funny. If you couldn't tell, those were 2 snaps into finger guns.
Yeah, so that's kind of... But there were some parts that hit. I really like the... does he have a name? The character, the bartender?
The sidekick I assume he has a name. I had never paid enough attention to learn
I don't know.
I liked his very dry sense of humor. I mean, the sense of humor wasn't dry, but his delivery was very dry.
Yeah, I like that a lot. He was probably the funniest character in the movie, I would say. I do like the whole interaction with Negasonic, Teenage Warhead.
You got me in a box here. Yeah, that was good.
That was a good one. And just the way that Deadpool interacted with her and Colossus, all good stuff. But yeah,
I like Colossus.
Colossus is good.
His character wasn't that engaging, but I liked him as kind of the really friendly uncle, kind of brother type.
Right.
Really good straight man kind of thing.
As I'm thinking about it, I didn't really piece this together, but as I'm thinking about it, I didn't like Deadpool so much by himself at all. I liked him interacting with others, but by himself, not as much.
Yeah.
When he's interacting with Francis, all that stuff is pretty funny. And whenever he's like by himself narrating, usually not as good.
I can agree with that.
And I hope in the second one, maybe, because it's going to be different, because it's an origin story, the first one. And, I mean, that's always, like, origin stories are boring.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just Ryan Reynolds before Deadpool.
And no one really cares.
Yeah, no one cares.
I like Ryan Reynolds, but I'm not watching for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm watching for the Deadpool. And I do like how we, in the last few moments, had just decided that Wade Wilson was not a character, but that it was Ryan Reynolds himself.
It might as well have been.
It might as well. Yeah, I assumed it was, actually.
Deadpool is essentially Ryan Reynolds' love child anyway. He was trying to make that movie for like 10 years before it finally happened.
Yeah, I wonder, do you think someone came to him about that idea of Deadpool, or he was just like, I love Deadpool and I want to play Deadpool?
I don't know.
And then the Green Lantern thing happened, and that was
a massacre. But we don't have to watch that.
We don't have to watch
That's
that
DC.
yet. But Jeffrey Rush is in it, and that kind of bumps it up a few points just from him being in there. I mean,
who did he play? Was he the bad guy?
No, he's one of his alien friends. I don't remember. I think he was like the long, skinny, orange one that fights him the first time. It's been a while.
I've seen
I don't know if that
once.
character exists in that movie, but I know Jeffrey Rush is in it. I'm pretty sure.
I do like him a lot, and his delivery in all of his lines are fantastic.
Yeah. So I really think that they need to put Deadpool into a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I think that's probably the best option.
Well, I agree. I think they should not make any more Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Well, it could be a Deadpool movie, right? What if this next Deadpool movie is... Okay, maybe it's just Deadpool and Captain Barbossa.
Alright. I'm listening.
Okay, so picture this, right? You're on the high seas in... I was gonna say space, but okay.
Now we're getting into Treasure Planet territory.
Well, okay. You're on the high seas in the... Well, let's not do the Caribbean.
Okay. The Indian Ocean.
Yeah, just the Indian Ocean. Okay, in the Indian Ocean, off the coast of India, Captain Barbossa is there. He's sitting there.
Yeah.
At a table. He's right. He's there at a bar. Okay, he's sitting there
in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. On the ship.
Yeah.
Well, he has a bar on his ship. He's captain. He's got a captain's bar. Just
I'm
if you would just please listen to me. Okay, so they're in a bar on a ship. It's one of those casino ships. So because legally they can't have a casino on the land in India, and so if they have it out on the water, it's technically fine.
So he's not a pirate anymore?
He is a pirate, just in a different way. Not. I haven't even got to Deadpool yet.
Wait,
okay.
So are you saying that all Native Americans are pirates? Because they run the vast majority of casinos.
You're racist. They're not called Indians.
I said Native Americans.
Yeah, you can't call people from India Native Americans. That's racist. Okay. Deadpool walks in, and it's almost identical to the bar in Deadpool.
Okay.
Right? He goes, he sits down at the table. Deadpool walks up to him and says something irreverent, as he often does.
There's a laugh track.
Yes, there's a laugh track.
The bass line from Seinfeld.
Yeah, constantly. Actually, that led us into it. Liam was trying to secretly eat chips instead of not eating chips at all. Anyway, so they're there. He says something irreverent. Deadpool puts a gun up to his head. Barbossa says, "No, what are you doing?" Scene.
So that was the whole point of that story. To get to a Barbossa making a "what are you doing" joke. Because he's a pirate.
Right.
Specifically, Jeffrey Rush making that joke as Barbossa.
As Barbossa. Right, yeah.
How is this a review of Deadpool?
Well, I mean, we talked about it for like 3 minutes. I feel like they understand how I feel about Deadpool.
Okay.
At this point.
So back to what we were talking about 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
The second Deadpool, you brought that up briefly. Deadpool, not as funny by himself. They have Cable in this next movie. And Cable is essentially Deadpool's foil in the comic books. So he will act as the straight man, I assume.
Yeah, much like Colossus.
Like Colossus, but perhaps more engaging.
Not as goofy, way more serious.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would really like it if it was a very Cable-centric storyline and Deadpool is more of a side character.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they're bringing in a lot of new characters. Well, not new characters, but comic book characters. They're bringing in Domino and Cable, and I'm sure Negasonic Teenage Warhead will make a
I'm sure.
cameo at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that.
So yeah, talking about the sequel still isn't reviewed.
It isn't removed. Yeah. So we did just watch it for a couple hours, so you would think that we knew something about it. Why don't you describe the plot of Deadpool to me for those who haven't seen, and then I'll riff on some good funny bits.
There's not a lot of plot to really dive into. Ryan Reynolds, falls in love with a stripper.
Yeah.
He finds that a prostitute.
She's a prostitute.
Falls in love with a prostitute stripper. He bangs her for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's really long.
Yeah, long, gratuitous,
and not that funny.
Yeah, no, not really. No. He gets boned in the butt by her at one point, and that is hilarious. At least that's what we're told. So that happens for too long, essentially, and eventually he just passes out because he has cancer.
Yeah, that's true. He gets a late stage cancer in like 3 places, but no symptoms before?
No former symptoms. He just gets up to pee and then he passes out.
Right.
So the plot kind of levels out there for a few minutes as they just talk about cancer. I think they have a flash forward to him fighting more bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go back to...
Definitely something they should have... Yeah, with it being an origin story, maybe they should have spent a little bit of time in the beginning with the origin and then spent a majority of it instead of flashing back.
Yeah, they flash back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah. They do that.
So yeah, he finds out he has cancer. He gets down in the dumps about it, doesn't want to drag down the character's name. His prostitute girlfriend is Vanessa. Ryan Reynolds doesn't want to drag down Vanessa. Ryan Reynolds, we've decided that is Wade Wilson. You know. So she gets a character name, Ryan Reynolds doesn't. So Ryan Reynolds decides he doesn't want to drag her down. Eventually joins up with an Agent Smith type dude. Gets tortured. All of a sudden he has superpowers.
And it never explains why he understands that he's in a movie. Then. And also, I thought one of the jokes he did, he's like, when he's on the table before they ever start testing him, he's like, don't make my suit green or make me animated. Yeah. I was like, his character doesn't know that yet. Ryan Reynolds does not have that information yet. Because he's not so messed up psychologically that he knows he's in a movie.
That's a good point. I like Deadpool breaking the fourth wall and doing that kind of thing, but Ryan Reynolds doing it before he's Deadpool, yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. But, I don't know. It's I haven't read too many Deadpool comics, right? But does he often talk about himself breaking the fourth wall as a joke?
No.
No.
He doesn't talk about breaking the fourth wall, he just does.
That's kind of what I was thinking. That's not a funny joke to mention that you're breaking the fourth wall. Breaking the fourth wall is the funny joke.
Yeah.
Unless Ferris Bueller did it in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If he then started talking about he was breaking the fourth wall, that would be
Hello,
funny.
I am now breaking the fourth wall. Do you think I am funny?
That is maybe the best Matthew Broderick impression I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
once knew a guy who looked like Matthew Broderick.
Oh, you did? What was his name?
Matthew Modrick.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Well, I'm
pretty sure it was just Matthew Broderick in glasses. With the big fake nose and mustache.
I thought you were going to say Matthew Broderick on meth. I'm pretty sure it was just that. But I don't know.
Clearly he was on meth. But...
Obviously, no one would believe Matthew Broderick was. And he was the voice of Simba.
Yeah.
So... I mean, there's that, and Donald Glover was going to be the voice of Simba. Did they ever do the live-action Lion King? I don't know.
So Donald Glover, Deadpool 3, confirmed.
I think so.
Yeah.
I actually would really, really like to see Donald Glover as Deadpool.
See, that'd be a good joke. Deadpool takes off the mask, and it's Donald Glover.
I don't know if that'd be a good joke, but it would.
Well, clearly there's no punchline, but it's just so left field.
Right, yeah.
And it's not like Donald Glover's putting out persona or is even being Childish Gambino. It's just Donald Glover, the actor.
That would be awesome. I think he could play that. Who would play Cable? Ryan Reynolds?
Thanos.
Yeah. Not Josh Brolin, but just just.
It would be Josh Brolin playing Thanos, playing Cable.
Well, that's the thing. Thanos and Deadpool have a really
instrumental
relationship. Because Thanos is obsessed with Lady Death. Lady Death is in love with Deadpool.
Yep.
And so Thanos puts a curse on Deadpool that he can never die, so he can never be with Lady Death.
See, and you said you didn't know anything about the comics.
I basically don't. I mean, that could be a lie.
Could be. You might have made all of it up.
I may have. We don't. Maybe Jeffrey Rush isn't in the Green Lantern or any of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah.
He still has the best part in the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie, even though he's barely in it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I do love me some Jeffrey Rush. Is that what we're talking? Is that what we're reviewing? 100 out of 100.
Jeffrey Rush?
Yeah.
100.
Just
yeah.
100.
Easily.
Yeah, oh, easy. 200.
All right, welcome to Roommates Review Jeffrey Rush.
All right, yeah. All right, so I think now's a good time for me to do a segment. I've been thinking it might be a little difficult on this one, but we'll see. This is a segment I like to call "Is It Racist?"
That was a bad time to eat a chip.
While Liam dies, I'm gonna look up on Google, is Deadpool racist? And then we'll see if we get any, good articles out of it.
I mean, I wrote down some, talking points about the actors and the characters and the cinematography and all that, but I like this better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you think that we were going to be doing actual real movie reviews? We could only last for like 4 minutes before we quit.
I mean, I thought there'd at least be this thin veneer of like, all right, we're going to review these movies. But no.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everyone. I do think that this is a very solid movie. I think it's mostly funny.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really hard to make fun of a comedy.
True.
And so, coming at it from a satirical point of view, in that way, on something that's already incredibly irreverent, there's just too many layers there. So what we do
Unlike
from now,
Jeffrey Rush in the Indian Ocean on a casino ship,
right, with Native Americans.
Yeah, there aren't as many layers to that.
Yeah, right, absolutely. So from here on out, now everything's gonna be totally serious as a joke. So is Deadpool racist? Oh, it's immediately talking about the Indian cab driver, which I forgot about.
Yeah, because
I forgot he was Indian. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about who cares because he's Indian. Yeah, no, continue.
Yeah, no. Nothing important. I'm trying to find someone mad about Deadpool being racist.
I think you need to go to Tumblr for that.
Deadpool racist Tumblr. Who knows what I'll find. It's just mostly talking about Trump. So that's weird. Whatever.
Well, the Trump
So, I guess
administration wasn't in effect when Deadpool came out.
No, it wasn't. I guess the answer is no, Deadpool isn't
All right,
racist.
there you have it.
That's the answer.
Deadpool is not racist. That gives it at least 5 extra points.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
When we tally it up at the end.
Yeah. Well.
Not to say we're going to tally anything.
No, we're not tallying.
Pulling numbers out of thin air.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, we're giving it, basically what you see in Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, they throw out random numbers, and you know them.
Certified fresh.
Yeah, certified, dude. So, on your list, what did you want to talk about, Liam? And then, what do you want to talk about?
I mean, we already talked about the actors.
Yeah.
Talked about the plot. Did we discuss the actual characters in the film at all?
Again, it's a little difficult because it's a comedy.
True.
So there's not as much character development.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, good comedies come from good character development.
Mm-hmm.
We
discussed the humor, the action. We haven't talked about the actual action, the choreography.
That I think the action is really good. I like their the gory implications. I guess there's not so much of like you see all their intestines or whatever, but they're like brief moments of you slice through them and there's a bunch of blood.
Yep.
You know, I like that. That's a little more cartoony, a little more Deadpool. I think that's really cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, instead of like when you watch the Daredevil and that guy like through his eye, or like when you watch Punisher and just like so much gore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more like a video game, more like a comic book, which I like that. I think that's a
little
good
less
style.
realism. I can agree with that. There's one thing Evan pointed out to me while we were watching the film is Deadpool doesn't try to dodge any incoming bullets, and you can just see blood splatters coming off of him constantly as he's taking all this barrage of fire from his assailants.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. It was something I didn't look at the first time. Stop making fun of my stutter. I have a condition. Okay. I just... yeah, but the blood flying off of me just constantly being hit. And him, when he's hunting down the people looking for Francis... Stop eating the chips. Stop. He's hunting down the people looking for Francis... And he's like stabbing that one guy, and the other guy's just shooting him in the back, and he doesn't even notice it. I love that. And they also surprisingly kept Francis. He never screamed out in pain.
That's true.
I was looking out for that because it said he had no feelings. So and he never did.
Dude, let's talk about the inconsistency of Francis and his powers.
Yeah. He only says he has increased reflexes.
And he's very specific about it.
Yeah,
he has increased reflexes and deadened nerve cells.
Yeah.
And then he says he has no feelings either.
Right. You know,
which
he's
seems a little silly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he probably had no feelings before. Let's just be honest. Francis was an evil psychopath, which is why he was able to perform all these experiments on him.
One of those one-dimensional evil psychopaths.
Yes, yeah.
But anyway, at one point, he impales Deadpool with a huge, what are they called?
Iron rod,
rebar.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge, just rod of rebar. And then he bends it with his bare hands.
Yeah, So he's just super strong?
At no point do they say he has super strength. At no point afterwards does he show any kind of superior strength.
Except he knocks Deadpool around pretty far, but like, yeah, it's not.
At one point earlier, before the rebar scene, he picks a guy up by the
throat.
I
noticed that too. I was like, oh, so, and then a guy mentions he's a mutant. I'm like, oh, he must have super strength. Okay, that's fine. But he specifically points out that Angel has superhuman strength, but then doesn't mention it about himself.
So are we just supposed to assume all mutants have super strength?
You just have super strength if you're a mutant. Maybe. Maybe that's just, the baseline.
Yeah.
I remember in the comics when Cyclops picked up, the world on his shoulders, metaphorically, when Jean Grey died in the second X-Men movie.
You mean he wasn't doing an Atlas thing and like actually picking up the globe?
It was kind of hard for me to follow that sentence there, so I don't know. Maybe that is what I meant.
Or like if you play any of the Super Nintendo X-Men games and they all can just pick up cars, no matter who they are.
Yeah, maybe it is like that.
Yeah, all mutants have super strength.
Right, that seems reasonable.
All right, now we've learned something today. We've discovered something. So yeah, Ajax, Francis, kind of a one-dimensional villain. He's a psycho. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and
the movie's not about him.
Powers are unclear. The Howlett should have ended pointing out why is he able to stay alive for so long.
Yeah, after being stabbed in the chest multiple times.
Yeah, like...
Should be bleeding out.
Yeah, he should 100% just be dead because he doesn't have super healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just kind of shrugs it off.
Yeah.
I'm catching your strokes. I didn't know they were contagious. But it's okay for him to be one-dimensional, I think, because it's not really about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, in other Marvel films, the majority of them are kind of one-dimensional, the villains, and that's a travesty in some cases.
Yeah.
Ultron, for example. Spade, that's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spade does Ultron very well, but the character itself is just not that engaging.
Yeah.
Like, the voice acting is incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
it is a little uncomfortable watching Ultron, like, did he do the mocap for it? Because it is a little uncomfortable, like, with his head to the side, just like Spade, and like delivering in that way. It's like, I don't want to see that on a big robot.
Yeah, robots. I don't think they would act like that.
It's kind of weird.
Speaking of CGI, what did you think of the CGI in Deadpool?
For the most part, I thought it was pretty not noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously Colossus. But it was... Colossus is so kind of cartoonish.
I wouldn't say otherworldly, but that kind of idea is...
Yeah, that the CGI really doesn't... It's like when you watch a Guardians of the Galaxy, all those monsters and stuff are CGI, but you're not... You don't see them like that. It's not like they're trying to fool you into something real.
Right.
So.
Yeah, aside from a couple times when Deadpool's jumping through the air and it's clearly CGI.
Yeah.
Or the good CGI, like Negasonic warheads, cool flames and the explosions and stuff. For the most part, I didn't think it was horrendous or that noticeable. Didn't take me out of the film.
Definitely didn't, I would say. It's not like going back and watch the old Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Mans. Sorry.
Spider-Man.
I forgot where we landed.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
The Jewish Spider-Man.
Yeah. Right. Stop eating the chips.
You're not my dad.
Stop.
We talked about the villain. Music was fantastic.
Yes.
A lot of really good oldies.
Yeah,
Which is all I really notice in films. I don't notice like the swelling orchestras and the I don't really notice that. But when a good classic song like "Careless Whisper" or "Calendar Girl" comes on, then I'm like, yeah, this is really good. This is a good choice.
This is a good part. I love X Gonna Give It To You.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a fun song.
Yeah,
so just
absolutely.
to throw it in there, I think it's fantastic for Deadpool. They did do a kind of orchestral thing, right? When Deadpool pointed out that Angel was going to do the superhero landing, and then I thought that was funny that they did a very superheroic orchestra kind of music behind it.
Yeah, but like I said, I didn't even notice that music. But had I probably would have thought that was funny.
Yeah. Which is really good.
Because it's such a trope.
Yeah.
Especially in Marvel films.
Absolutely. Yeah, and them making fun of that was really good. Deadpool, just thinking about us starting with the movie that's making fun of all the other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it sets a good
precedent
idea, because while we are reviewing these movies, we're going to be making fun of them a lot.
A lot, yeah, that's true.
Because there's a lot to make fun of.
There really is, even in the movies that you like. Avengers has some of the most,
I'd say especially in the movies you like.
Yeah, they're more fun to break apart because you've watched them more, usually.
Back to the Spider-Man, which we will talk about eventually.
Yeah, and more in detail.
Evan's favorite is Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
My favorite is Spider-Man 1. I just like Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe.
Yes, Willem Dafoe.
As a villain. I love Willem Dafoe. Not to say that... I won't get into the stuff about Green Goblin. Never mind. But I just like it better. But when we watched those movies together, we just ripped into them.
Oh yeah, totally. We barely
paid attention to the plot or anything. We were just looking for the next thing to make fun of.
Right, yeah. And the next thing to make fun of was not Alfred Molina, who was fantastic. Fantastic. That's the thing. That's the thing about those first two Spider-Mans. Which
don't go too in depth because we have to review these later.
Well, no, I've combined Spider-Man and Spider-Mans. Spider-Mans. Spider-Mans.
So that's where we're landing.
So far.
Okay.
So the villains in the first two are really good. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's what movies need a good villain. Deadpool not so much since it's a comedy.
Right.
It does not need a good villain. But Francis, I would say, is pretty memorable.
But Francis.
Nice! High five!
Oh.
It's easier to make a loud noise with the microphone, but high five myself.
Yeah,
I'll edit this out.
Yeah, I really wanted to high five you.
It's okay. Anyway,
ship now.
No! Oh no! Okay. Anyway. Yeah, like I was saying, Francis can be one-dimensional, but he is memorable. Mm-hmm. I did remember him pretty well in his whole thing of, "What's my name?" as he's saying to Deadpool constantly.
Well, it's the repetition.
Yeah.
You know, it's ingraining it into you.
I did forget that Deadpool did spell his name out with the dead bodies.
Yeah.
And that was really funny.
Yeah, the eye was some dude with his pants pulled down and his butt sticking out. Because butts are funny.
Yeah, classic. Yeah. And there's a little bit of Ryan Reynolds dangly.
Oh yeah,
dangly schlong in there for some reason.
You definitely see his penis. I mean, it's R-rated. I mean,
yeah,
I'd show my penis in an R-rated film.
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Well, the only one who'd see it is me, and I'm not ready for that.
Okay, I'm just saying I'd do it. I mean,
yeah, all right.
Yeah, I didn't say I'm going to. I mean,
but you would.
Yeah, if I had a zipper on, I would do a bit where I unzip my pants. But you know,
no. Edit that out. No. Can you hear that?
Nice.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was Evan's zipper. He pulled out his penis.
Right. Yeah. Nice. How do we feel as Deadpool as a main character? Should he be the main character of a movie?
I think I would like him more as cameo and side character. So now that Disney owns Marvel in its entirety, now that it owns... Well, does it own all of Sony yet?
Nope.
It doesn't own Fantastic Four and all... No, Fantastic Four was Fox.
Oh.
Wasn't it?
I feel like it doesn't own Sony.
It doesn't own Sony. It doesn't own Sony entirely, but it's still using Spider-Man.
Using Spider-Man on a deal or something.
Right, but now it owns Fox, so it owns all the X-Men. So now that Sony owns now that Disney owns X-Men, they own Deadpool, and Deadpool can make cameos and do that kind of thing. Kind of like Wolverine does in all the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's me, the best X-Men.
Yeah.
X-Man.
X-Men.
Former man. The best former man, Wolverine. He makes an appearance in all the X-Men films. And then some.
Does he?
No, he doesn't. But they can do that with Deadpool now that they own him, and he's just funny. You can see him in the background at like a chimichanga stand, and then he'll notice the camera and start waving or something.
Yeah, I mean they could do that, or just have him as a side character. That's really what I hope they do. The direction of the second one, he's more of a side character. Cable's the main focus.
Right. I don't think they will.
They won't. They definitely won't.
They definitely won't. But when it's not a Deadpool movie and he shows up, I think that'll be really good.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. But it's just as distracting.
Yeah. Well, I didn't eat it this time. Yeah. I just thought about it.
Right. Yeah, so Deadpool as a main character works in the comics really well, but the comics are so bizarre. Mm-hmm. That movie is not bizarre.
Right. At one point, Deadpool marries a demon queen and is absolutely in love with her in the comics. Spoilers, I guess.
It's too late.
Yeah, he has a best friend who's a completely cybernetic robot chick who is the guardian of his daughter. You know, it's...
Yeah.
The Deadpool comics are just off the walls.
Yeah, I was thinking less in the plot and how they're presented, though. Because you've got his different thoughts.
True. He
has multiple personalities.
He has multiple personalities inside of his head.
That are constantly talking to him and arguing with each other and whatever, and then he's making comments and how he interacts with other people, and so that movie is not like that.
I think they do it a very little bit in the first shootout on the highway. You know, you see him counting the bullets, and he shoots that guy in the head for, I think it was number 8 or something like that, and then he shoots him 2 more times.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Stupid, worth it."
Yeah.
You know, there's a very little bit, maybe even just the slightest reference to his multiple personalities in his head.
Maybe a little bit, but it just kind of made him seem more goofy and a little more maybe aware of what's going on than it did, like, they didn't have different people speaking as his different voices in his head. You know, which is something they could have done, but...
Right.
Yeah. Or they could have nixed that all together and just had him not narrate and just see his bizarreness out of nowhere. That could have been interesting, too. Really, I'm just trying to make a better movie, not review this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that's how you review something.
That's how reviews work. You just...
Yeah. How can it be
You
better?
say what it wish it was.
Yeah.
Like, Peter Jackson's The Hobbit trilogy. Absolute dumpster fire. Guillermo del Toro was originally supposed to direct those, and I think they would have been fantastic.
That would have been interesting.
No. It would have been very different. Very different from Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, which wasn't bad. You know, it was still inconsistent with the books, but more on par, less of a complete left field mess than the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah.
But it definitely would have been very different, and it would have had the Guillermo del Toro feel.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. I wouldn't have watched it, but the idea of it would have been interesting.
Yeah. No, I like del Toro. I think the Hellboy movies are really fun, and
I've never seen the Hellboy movies.
they're fun.
Well, I think I've seen part of one on TV. Who's the main actor? What's his name?
Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah. This big man. Incredible.
I think John Goodman should play it instead. I think John Goodman should be Hellboy. I think we should rewrite Hellboy where it's John Goodman. Is John Goodman still alive?
I think so.
I would
John
guess
Goodman's
so.
alive.
I would guess so.
Yeah, but that'll be for our next series when we review the Dark Horse films.
Right.
All like 2 of them.
Spore? Is that Dark Horse? Is that just a different thing?
I don't know what Spore is. What's Watchmen?
Watchmen's DC.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Watchmen's DC. So we got that. We won't have to worry about that. Although I haven't seen the Watchmen movie ever, and I do want to watch it.
It's okay.
Yeah, people. The longer it's been out, the more people have liked it. Like the public opinion on it has changed.
Has just improved.
Has improved as it's gone. So I've seen the couple of prison scenes with Rorschach, and they're so good.
Rorschach's the best character in that movie.
Definitely, and that's why people are more focused on watching the Rorschach parts and not the rest of it.
Yeah, not the big swinging blue dick.
Yeah, that was a problem, but you know, that was something I heard a lot about.
Which just brings us back to Ryan Reynolds' penis.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's there.
It is,
folks.
There. You have to look for it though.
And we did.
We did.
Frame by frame.
We watched the whole movie frame by frame. Didn't get any of the audio, but
we saw his penis. We zoomed in, even.
Yeah.
It's hard to miss.
Yeah. We got a big TV down there, so we just, you know, real nice. Real great.
Pacing, we discussed that a little bit with the jumping back and forwards in time, how it wasn't perfect. I think the pacing could have been a bit smoother.
Yeah, definitely. It was all over the place, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
Not in a good Deadpool kind of way. So, I mean, that's Deadpool, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. References. They make a lot of references.
They make a ton of too many.
Yeah.
Too many. And too many for cheap jokes.
Yeah,
Some of them are good ones.
Yeah, they talk about Star Wars. They talk about Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern.
Yeah.
They talk about
the old Deadpool.
They talk about Wolverine a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They bring up Beast quite a bit.
Yeah.
One reference was pretty funny. Colossus says that he's going to take Deadpool to Xavier, Professor X, and Deadpool's like, all right, McAvoy, is that how you pronounce it?
No.
James McAvoy. McAvoy or Stewart? I get so confused with the timelines. Like that was a pretty good joke.
Yeah, that feels like I can relate as a fan of X-Men.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
But for the most part, there are a lot of references.
There's a lot, yeah. A lot of them that are supposed to be just like random, like in that first scene when there's like a Hello Kitty, whatever. It's you know that's supposed to be a joke, but it's like, but that's not funny.
Yeah, it's Deadpool has a bunch of cutesy pink girl stuff.
Yeah.
Lol.
Ha. Yeah, that
like it's ironic, I guess. So it's amusing. I wouldn't say it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems to be about the whole tone of it. And which is a little confusing when they try to actually go a little bit serious for you. I don't know. There's too much, of just like actual serious situation in there. It's like, I kind of like this half amusing thing always constantly going.
You gotta commit to one or the other.
Yeah,
like,
unless
'cause sometimes
in a short-term format, definitely.
Right. Because sometimes Deadpool is like, oh, why won't you die? And you're a monster, and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
yeah.
I think he should be cracking jokes
through
the pain and like Deadpool would.
Yeah, that would be definitely. Yeah, if it was something like a series or something, then you can have a whole bunch of jokes and then have a serious thing, and that really brings you down.
Yeah.
Like that, there are plenty of comedies, like for instance, Scrubs. That's complete and total comedy, but every once in a while they hit you with the hard hitting, emotional stuff, and like they're able to do that because the characters are all set up.
Yeah,
I don't care about Wade Wilson's pain and struggle.
Who?
I don't care about Ryan Reynolds' pain and
struggle.
struggle.
Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yes. So, then it's just like, please stop. Please go back to cracking jokes and do funny ones.
Yeah, be funny.
All right, so on a scale from 0 to 100, where are you rating this movie?
I'd give it a solid, I think 75. 3 out of 4.
Yeah. Okay, that's really close. I was gonna say 72.
Yeah.
72. Yeah, it's solid, funny, not as funny as it could be. Definitely. I think, that's too many bad jokes for a comedy.
Yeah, but enough good ones that you still enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Very good action. Like we said, the CGI doesn't take you out of the film.
Yeah, no Jeffrey Rush. So
yeah, no Jeffrey Rush, so that knocked off at least 10 points.
10, 15, 30 points probably.
Yeah.
For me, yeah. So, so what is that? 75, 72. What's the average of that? 70. I'm not good at math. Calm down.
73.5?
Thank you.
Probably? 72. Yeah.
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 Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so 73.5 out of 100.
That's where we're putting it. And right now, that's ranked at number 1. It's our favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, it is the first and best.
And the first and best. Deadpool, and if we never do any more of this podcast, then Deadpool will be the greatest Marvel movie of all time.
You heard it here, folks, on Roommate Reviews.
I think we should be called Jewish. Let's just be called the Spidermans. The Spidermans! Saul and Peter Spiderman.
So Spider-Man's review or Spider-Man's review?
Spider-Man's Spiderman's review.